And that all started from getting injured. I got to work in physical therapy at the office where I did my rehab. I got to then continue on that path to being comfortable in my own skin and capable of helping myself with any future injuries that I might have. So at one time, what was the most miserable day of my life actually became probably the best thing that ever happened.
Podcast where we inspire you to live your most audacious life yet. I'm grateful for each and every one of you who made the decision to choose to be here with us and embark on this journey of growth and empowerment. Today we've got a really great guest who epitomizes the essence of audacity and resiliency. Spencer Aiken's journey is a testament to the power of pushing beyond limits and seizing opportunities, no matter how unconventional they may seem. You know, as the saying goes, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And no matter how, sour a situation might be, it can be turned into something positive and refreshing simply by adopting a positive attitude and being resourceful. Adversity can be that raw material for creating something new and valuable. And that's exactly what we'll talk about here today on this episode of the Audacious Living Podcast. So now that the stage is set and we're ready to go, here is my conversation with Spencer Aiken. Enjoy. Hey, Spencer, thank you for joining me here today on the Audacious Living Podcast. It's awesome for you to make the time like this and be here. Thank you.
It is very much my pleasure to be here today.
Awesome. We spend a lot of time on this podcast touching on a variety of different topics, and one of them that seems to be a reoccurring one is the topic of resiliency and
Right.
how to bounce back from challenges and the obstacles that life throws at us, and we're all going to face them. They're going to come our way. There's nothing we can do to stop them. We're not going to get any advance notice, nothing like that. They're here. We deal with them and move on. And so because of that, everyone has a story, much like yourself. I know you've got a long career in the fitness industry, and we'll certainly talk about that. But prior to, you've had some experiences where your resiliency was tested. So I'm wondering, of a starting point, if you could perhaps really tell us a little bit about your background, your story, and what brings you to where you are now.
All right. So a story of resiliency is, imagine you are a college athlete and you prepare all year for your sport. You work harder than you've ever worked before. You're in your best shape of your life. You're ready to start your senior year of college in the best possible position possible. And the very first day of football practice in the summer, you blow out your ACL 15 minutes into practice. That's the story of the beginning of my senior year. And what at one time was the most miserable day of my life, where it is, oh my God, I can't believe I spent all this time and now that's wasted, led me or started me on this journey of learning about what the human body is capable of. And I can honestly say, without blowing out my knee, I would not be here where I am today with the information inside of my head, with the knowledge that I learned from that experience, which led me to all the different aspects of my career. And I'm one of the lucky ones. I love what I do for a living. I get to work with amazing people. I have a very wide, extensive array of information within my head because of the different experiences I've been able to have. And that all started from getting injured. I got to work in physical therapy at the office where I did my rehab. I got to then continue on that path to being comfortable in my own skin and capable of helping myself with any future injuries that I might have. So at one time, what was the most miserable day of my life actually became probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Funny how that works, isn't it? Right? In the moment, it feels sucky and crappy. You don't like it. You think the world's over, and all of a sudden, that becomes the thing that you are probably most appreciative and thankful for because of the opportunity that it opens up for you.
So there's always a path. And, some people are religious and they said God has a design in our lives. It's true. You can say, I am going in this direction, and then life's path may take you down a different road, and it becomes the best thing that's happened to you. I can also say the 2 times I didn't get technically fired from a job, but the 2 times where I sat down with my bosses and said, we need to think about maybe going in a different direction, both of us, those opportunities led to the best jobs I've ever had. And at the time, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. You have that instant reaction of, oh, crap, what's next? Yeah. They led to the best career opportunities I've had, teaching at a university and the career that led me to where I was, which is teaching at a school and creating the educational company that I currently run, helping everyone understand fitness isn't some fancy gadget and or myth. It's not mythological. It's easily achievable as long as we use 1% of our brain to figure out our journey.
So we'll definitely dive into the fitness convo in a moment here. But what I really, Spencer, want to go back to is these opportunities are created, because I think the thing that stands out for me is, these new opportunities that appear in the midst of the chaos and challenge and all these sorts of things. You never would have predicted them. We never would have seen them. We probably had no idea that these things were at our disposal, but yet here they are. Isn't that incredible?
100%. It's weird how that works. Opportunity is presented for us or to us, and we have to be willing to accept it and then willing to grab it. Too many people are going through life going, oh, I don't know what I want to do. Should I go do this? And if they were simply to look around and say, oh, well, that's actually something that I enjoy, and then just grab at it, life will give you opportunities that make your life what you're hoping for.
So the thing I'm really curious about then is, looking back now, you've got this fabulous career in fitness. What was the plan if not fitness?
Who knows? So the answer is I couldn't figure it out because, okay, the stat or rumor that I've heard is 70% of people who get a college degree don't do the career in which they got their degree. Whether I'm slightly off on the numbers, I'm not sure. I'm just misquoting what I've heard over time. So I was getting my degree in sports management at the time with an emphasis in exercise science.
Okay.
I wanted to, or I thought I wanted to be a strength coach at a university level. And I still love that profession, but I also knew that it wasn't necessarily what lit my fire, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I love working with a variety of people, and working with athletes is fun. There's the enamoring of, the athletes, which I also found out while working with athletes, isn't all that it's hyped to be. I love motivating the unmotivated or working with the challenging people. Athletes are generally already motivated, especially professional athletes. It's a little bit of a misnomer in our industry that working with athletes is all it's cracked up to be. People think, oh, I work with this person and I work with this person. Yeah, but that person is already amazing at what they do. You're basically just handing them weights and saying, go do this a lot of times. Gotcha. So I could have gone down the strength coach route, and I'm glad I didn't, because I don't actually enjoy that aspect of training the most. I don't enjoy working with the already developed. I enjoy working with kids and helping them to get to that level. Gotcha. My education company is actually based on helping physical education teachers apply more fitness-based PE to their physical education programs. I love working with those who are learning and needing to improve on their balance, their catching, their targeting, their throwing. Those are the fun skills to develop. Someone who's already squatting 500 pounds is cool and impressive, but not necessarily the funnest people to work with. So my path would have probably been there until I got injured and said, oh, now I need to follow a different path. And one of my, to this day, favorite people to ever work with was a 15-year-old girl who had just come back from cancer surgery where they had part of her brainstem removed. And she had no balance, no standing skills. And we were simply day one, let's learn how to stand on one leg without falling over. Absolutely amazing. Her motivation, her drive, her resiliency were all off the chart. She was still kind of fighting for her life.
Sure.
But I remember her 30 years later going, that was one of the funnest clients I've ever had, because working on those skills have life transferable applications that I love.
Spencer, you're absolutely right. I think it's a beautiful story. For me, I go back to the beginning, how this never would have been possible. Those experiences you never would have seen coming, the opportunities you had, the motivation, the 15-year-old young lady you spoke of, those things would not have been on your radar had you not have gotten injured. And
exactly.
And that to me is where you find the blessing. I think that could you describe sort of what you're feeling as a senior, getting hurt, losing your ACL, watching your and I guess at that time, watching your life go through, slip through your hands at that time?
The first natural reaction is, why me? Okay. So everyone's going to have that misery, the miserable, the probably possibly brought to tears, come to Jesus moment, as they say, of why is this happening to me? All right. And I had that. I can remember calling my mom and saying, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And in all truth, I broke down. I started crying.
Sure.
Right? My mom gave me one of the best pieces of advice I could ever say to someone. She was sympathetic for a second, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a minute or two. And then was the question, okay, what are you going to do now? And I told her the steps of what I had to do. That instant action of what is the next step, I think more of us need to apply that sort of reasoning with ourselves of, okay, this happened. What do I do next? I think a lot of times we get stuck in the, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. Woe is me. I can't believe this happened. Well, it did happen. What are you going to do next? And so I laid out the game plan to her, like instantly started thinking about, okay, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to get surgery. Okay, so what's the step for that? Luckily enough for us, our family friend was the team doctor for the San Diego Chargers in the NFL at the time. So he said, all right, step one, can he do my surgery? Step two, find out when we can get it done. Step three, how long of a process is this going to be? And what do I need to do to get back to where I want to be healthy again? So all of those things with a mindset shift fell into place of, all right, I'm here now. This already happened. That's in the past. How are we going to move forward, getting back to where I want to be? Now, having said all that, I firmly believe that mindset shift of I need to get back led me to being fully recovered, doing sprints without a brace at 11 weeks. And if you know anything about ACL reconstruction, that's miraculous.
That's impressive. No, absolutely.
So I was doing full sprints at 11 weeks. I was playing basketball with my friends at 3 months. Now, I did play basketball with the brace on because that's just a smart decision, because you just don't know the natural reactivity. But I was playing basketball at 12 weeks.
So Spencer, I want to sort of make a connection here. So even at the point that you had made this plan, you hadn't written off your football career, right? You still, that was still something that gave you a goal to work towards. You still, on that path, you made a shift still. When did you abandon football for this new direction?
The next year. So I went back.
I realized you were in your senior year as well, too. I mean,
I was in my senior year. So because I was a medical redshirt, I would have had one more year of eligibility as well.
Gotcha.
However, this is not related to, but it is my path. I went back the next year, fully rehabbed, ready to go, day number one practice. and I just didn't have the passion for it anymore. I
Mm.
don't have an explanation or a reason why, but sometimes we just realize it's not what we are in love with. I didn't love the process of going to practice anymore. For the longest time, football was enjoyable. I kind of, through all that, realized I actually enjoy doing this more. I loved being a strength coach more. I loved working with people more than I actually loved the sport. It's also partially, now that I think about it, why I've never pursued being an actual sport coach. I have done strength coaches through, you know, high school levels and with athletes individually from 5 to 30 years old. I enjoy the sports performance of that aspect and the coaching of it, but the actual sport is not my favorite. I don't like the X's and O's of football and the X's and O's of basketball. I love the sports, but it kind of made me realize I like this more than that. I went from here, point A to point B, and all the things in between of becoming more explosive, better agility.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I basically went through like the first week of practice, sat down with the coach, and I said, body feels good, but my mind's not in it anymore. I want to graduate. I want to get done. I want to take the next step in my life, which at the time I thought was actually going to be physical therapy. That's another story for later days where you realize it's not really what you enjoy the most. Because I thought I was going to, upon graduation, I thought I was going to get into physical therapy and do all that. Until I realized it was basically just all paperwork.
Right, right,
So
right, right.
we all take different paths.
Understood. Well, I do certainly appreciate your openness to sort of seizing new opportunities, right? I think that's a big
Yep.
part of this. Like we literally have to go into these situations with our eyes wide open, and
Absolutely.
also to be accepting of what comes our way. Is that correct?
100%. Yeah. So if we're just walking through life with blinders on, we don't see the rest of the world. So everyone, including myself, we tend to want to be right here. We have those blinders on, and we just don't see opportunity. We are afforded so many opportunities if we're, to use a sports analogy, is head on a swivel. We should be looking around. Too many people walk with their eyes looking down. I did this on social media where too many people in the gym are afraid to make eye contact, so they just stare at the ground or they stare at their phone, and they're never willing to look around. If you're at the gym and you're looking around, you could potentially see a new exercise you've never done before, a new variation on an old exercise that you've done before. But we're not opening ourselves to opportunities. We're shut down, we're closed off. It is getting worse post COVID lockdowns and all that, where everyone just got comfortable in their own house, looking at their screen all day long. We shut down emotionally, physically, spiritually. We need to really allow ourselves to open back up and see, and then more importantly, seize the opportunities that are presented to us.
It's really interesting to mention, and I do agree with you with respects to the whole idea of making sure eyes are wide open. But we've all been in those situations. I'll share a quick story, and I've told the story in the past, where we've all been in situations where others, and that's why sometimes the perspective of others is an important thing. Not that we follow others' opinions and live by that, but certainly listen to their perspectives. And I remember once, several years ago. Now, I formerly was the commissioner of a Canadian basketball league. It's called NBL
Okay.
Canada. League ran for about 12 years, and I was a commissioner about half of that time. Well, prior to that, I actually joined the organization as a volunteer. I was just really interested in what they want to do. I wanted to be a part of it.
Yep.
It was brand new. And I remember taking a friend of mine who at the time was battling with prostate cancer. And I thought,
Okay.
hey, this would be a great opportunity, get him out. And he loved it. He enjoyed the atmosphere. He loved being around young people, sports, that was all his thing. So we bring him to this event. It was a draft event. So he was enjoying, he was actually, intermingling with people and talking. And I was off doing different work. And at the end of the night, we connected on the drive back home. He was like, "Oh, Audley, this is great. Thank you so much. It was awesome." And he said to me, I can see you running this league one day and being the commissioner. And and
Nice.
and and what I did is often many of us will do. Nah, you're crazy. What are you talking about? This can't happen. Nah, 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 nah. I totally shut it down. And only I'd say about 3 years later, when the opportunity started to become very real to me. Didn't see it at the time, but it became
Yep.
very real to me. And I always say his name is Rick, and I always say, Rick actually had passed just before I'd been appointed this role. And I remember after I gave him this call and someone offered to me, I was like, man, this would be great if Rick was here to see this. And I started stopping myself. I'm like, he didn't need to be here to see it because he already saw it. He was
Yep.
already
He already saw it, and he
right?
sees it where he is today.
And
So
that's exactly it. And so the perspective of others is a very, very good thing, because we oftentimes are our own worst enemies. We shut the door, we close the shutters, we put the bar on, we say, no, no, no. And we say, this isn't for me. When oftentimes those are the opportunities that are exactly meant for us.
exactly. So yeah, it's others see things that we are blind to. Others see things in ourselves that we aren't necessarily in attune with. But being open for the option of
Yes.
is where we could have a better life if we are open to the possibilities, let's say.
Got you. So we fast forward to now. You've got your fitness company. You're helping people in a major way. I know you shared a story of a young woman and her resiliency. I wonder, maybe there's another. I'm a big fan of stories, Spencer. What if you got another one that you can share with us?
Okay, so I mentioned earlier I'm in Yuma, Arizona, a
Okay.
small town on the border of Mexico, California, and Arizona. And
Mhm.
I was living in San Diego, and people would be like, well, why would you move from San Diego to Yuma, Arizona? The answer really is it has better weather consistently. But a lot of the folks, it gets hot here in Arizona during the summer. So a lot of them go to San Diego for the summer break during school years, right?
Yep.
So presenting opportunities. A woman who lives here said, hey, I'm going to be there for the month of June and July, and I need a trainer while I'm here. I've heard good things through social media. Are you willing to work with me for 2 months? And I said, yeah, that sounds great. Now, in our industry, we don't really want short-term clients. We really do want long-term clients. We want to build that relationship.
Sure.
But I was open to the opportunity of, yeah, that sounds great. I'll work with you for 2 months. You'll go back to Yuma. I worked with her for about 3 to 4 weeks of the 2 month opportunity. And she goes, would you ever go to Yuma to help me while I'm there? I said, if the opportunity made sense, I could see myself coming there once in a while. So she said, how about if you teach? She happened to own a gym here and said, would you go to there to do a workshop and teach the trainers who work for me your methods? And I said, absolutely, let's make that happen. My instant reply was, yes, that's the opportunity I would love. Let's make that happen. I was here for about half a day when she said, hey, I'm going to bring some people by who want you to work with them. Would you be willing to drive out here once a week for a day to work with these people? Fast forward over the course of a year of me driving back and forth, I then realized, you know what? I love the people here. I love the environment here. I really do like my life here. I'm going to make the full time move. I had a house with air conditioning versus San Diego, which is amazing to live in, but a lot of the houses don't have air conditioning.
Right.
So I said it's an opportunity that I want to explore further. So life is really about seizing opportunities. I wouldn't have ended up in Yuma, and I would probably still be living in San Diego, where I had realized 7 years ago that it had run its course. I like new adventures. My life has led me to new adventures,
Sure.
and I really do believe that if we look around and say yes to more things, life becomes better. My life is better because I seized the opportunity to say yes to something that was a little bit outside my comfort zone, but look where it led to where I get to be here today.
I love it. Seizing the opportunity and just go.
Exactly.
Love it. So I would imagine a big part of the work that you do with your clients, certainly, again, resilience is a big part of it. how do you teach someone to be more resilient? I mean, to me, I've always deemed that as it's a mental shift more than anything else. But there needs, yeah, to help others uncover that. How do you do that?
Recognition is an easy answer.
Okay.
Okay, so in the fitness world, we fail all the time. We teach people to work to failure. Some people are scared of doing a squat, putting more weight on than they're comfortable, needing a spotter and or using the safety bars, which are specifically designed for you to fail. They're designed as your safety measure in case you hit fatigue and you fail. So we help people realize if you're not pushing to your limits, you never find out what your limits are. I will misquote it, but there's a Bruce Lee quote saying something similar. If we only work to what we're capable of, we never see what we can really truly do. We don't push to our levels so that our level gets higher and higher. Okay, so that resilience of overcoming, whether it's a minor setback or a huge setback, life is all about finding what our limit is and then pushing past it so that every once in a while we actually do fail. We never attempt to fail. We should never set out with, I'm going to push myself so hard that my body gives up on me. But we need to see what those limits are. Remember, the mind gives out before the body gives out. We're stronger than we give ourselves credit for. And if we simply allow ourselves to keep pushing, I bet most of us can do way more than we think we can.
I do love the concept of embracing failure, as simple as that is. It's profound.
Yep.
Because we oftentimes, I think by human nature, we run from it. Like, no, I
Yep.
can't. I can't. I got to keep going, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this, what you're clearly saying, ain't nothing wrong with it.
Ain't nothing wrong with finding out what your limits are, because those limits, your ceiling will get higher and higher. Okay, so the people who could do one push-up, go do one push-up. Now try for two. Okay, I hear all the time from people, I can't do any pull-ups. Well, have you really tried to do your best pull-up? No, they failed one time and gave up and never tried again. It's like, are you incapable of doing pull-ups, or do you just hate them because at one time you failed? If that's the case, I would have stopped at 2 + 2 = 4, because I guarantee you the first time I did that math equation, I didn't get it right.
No, it's so funny when you say that, because there's a notion out there that people seem to think that if I'm trying something for the very first time that I've never ever done before, that I should master it. I should have it nailed. And the fact of the matter is, anything that we try for the first time, we're going to suck at it.
We're going to suck at it. So video games are a perfect example. You go up against someone playing a video game, they're going to beat you. So I tell people all the time, we learn, we practice, we master. Those are the 3 skills, or the 3 lessons of skill development. We learn it, we practice it, we master it. But too many people watch others, or they see social media and everyone is posting their victories. People don't post their losses. Okay, we don't go bragging around and saying, oh, well, I tried to do this and I couldn't. Here's the video.
Right.
Well, guess what? Social media is getting way too many people believing that everyone is perfect, and they're living these dream lives of always on vacation and always at these exotic locations and always doing these huge successful things, because people don't post their losses.
Right.
Not that that's a good thing, not that that's a bad thing, but learn, practice, master. Remember those 3 steps and you'll understand that life takes time and you will get better at it.
So on that, as you're building your own fitness career, what sort of challenges did you run into?
Well, currently, I teach physical education teachers how to be better at their jobs. Okay.
And I'm also curious how you landed there, because that's not where you started, but you landed.
That's not where I started. So I have a woman who I call my sister. We are not blood, but she's my best friend's sister. Okay. I'm about to turn 50, and she is 10 years younger, so she's 40. I've known her since she was 8 years old.
Okay.
That's family, right? That's your chosen family, not your blood family, but your chosen family. So she's my sister. All right. Shout out to Mary. She's awesome. She's a teacher in San Diego, a PE teacher. And in San Diego, they wanted to start implementing more fitness protocols for their physical education classes. We went to the same college, got the same degree, and she didn't learn anything that would help her. She learned a few things. I'm not saying it's a bad program. She didn't learn enough to where she was comfortable teaching. So she asked me questions. She said, well, you had a very good method for teaching me. Why don't you do that for other teachers? I said, well, I'm not a PE teacher. I have never to this day drawn an actual paycheck as a school teacher at a high school or middle school. I've taught at the university level where I taught those, but I would never have labeled one of my actual job titles as physical education teachers. And I told her that. I was like, I'm not a PE teacher. I've never been a PE teacher. And she was like, so you know more than I do about this stuff. Why don't you just try it? So based off of her belief in me, I applied to teach at the state organization for the state of California called CAPER, California Association of Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, I believe it is. Yep. Okay. And they accepted my proposal. I got to teach 2 workshops in 2019. Okay. I absolutely loved it. I had PE teachers who were base level learning the demands of teaching fitness so that they could teach their students. Okay. Part of my previous career was teaching individual adults how to become certified as personal trainers. Now I was doing that again, using the same verbiage, using the same skills, but to a different audience. I fell in love with the teaching of that again. As I mentioned earlier, I love teaching those who teach skill development, like working with kids, right, learning how to improve their balance.
Right.
So I got afforded the opportunity because what did I do? I seized the opportunity. Someone mentioned something to me and said, you know, this could be an option if you think about it. My mind pondered it for a little bit and I said, you know what? Why not try? So because of that one step, I got to teach at the state of California's organization. Yep. I've got a chance to teach at Arizona's. I got to teach at Texas's. I got to teach. I sent videos to Mississippi. I got to teach at Shape America, which is the national organization for physical education for the whole country of the United States. All right. All because I said, you know what? That sounds like a fun opportunity. I'm actually personally the first. This is what they told me when I got accepted. I'm the first non-physical education teacher to actually sit on the executive committee for the state of Arizona for what we call AZHPE, Arizona Health and Physical Education. I'm the first non-actual physical education teacher to be on their executive committee. All because I said, that sounds fun. I could have been scared and timid and said, but wait a minute, I'm not a teacher. But wait, I am a teacher. I'm an educator. I show people how to do things, how to improve their mental approach to certain things, how to realize it and see it from a different point of view. A lot of times we get stuck in one point of view. I am confident enough in myself to where I can say, I will figure out a way to make it work, but I've been open to the opportunity of making those things happen. And that led to the path where I currently run a company called Stronger Together Education Academy, where we run professional development workshops for personal trainers and physical education teachers. We host retreats. We host educational workshops on cruise ships. We do anything and everything to get in front of people to help them realize there are easy ways to teach others how to approach their fitness journey.
Wow. Spencer, so much of what you said is so in line with this podcast in terms of demonstrating that audacity to dive into something, not knowing what's around the corner, but taking that chance anyways, being open, as we said, seizing those opportunities, because that's really where all the greatness lies. You look at the modern inventions or the greatest feats or all these sorts of things that happen is because people said, hey, let's see where this goes. As
Absolutely,
opposed to
100%.
shrinking, staying small, staying safe, being comfortable. It's about pushing outside our comfort zone, because that's where we'll grow, we'll stretch, we'll evolve, we'll develop, and we have no idea the great things that'll come our way. And I'm hearing that loud and clear from you, so I want to acknowledge that and congratulate you, because it's something that a lot of people don't do. So it's a really big deal, Spencer. Good job.
Thank you.
Um,
Appreciate it.
yeah. No, again, I love that. For our listeners who if they wanted to sort of connect with you, or learn more about your work, where can we send them?
So if they want to email me, my email is spencer@spenceraiken.com, which is SPENCER at SPENCERAIKEN.com, Spencer@spenceraiken.com. My website is spenceraiken.com. We are most active on Facebook for social media, where our Facebook group is Stronger Together Academy. The company's name is Stronger Together Education Academy. We have the small goal to change the way that we help everyone learn and understand physical literacy, which are the skills of strength, balance, stability, movement, and flexibility, along with targeting, which is the ability to do things like this, cool skills where you're not looking, but you're able to walk without looking at your feet.
Right.
We want to help everyone learn that physical education and fitness are lifelong endeavors. They may change over the course of time. I'm nearing my 50th birthday, and I'm actually in better shape now than I was at 30. Definitely in better shape than I was at 40. I can still squat down all the way. I have my birthday goal coming up of 50 push-ups. Every year on my birthday, I do my age and push-ups. Been successful so far every year. So we can learn that our fitness program will change and evolve over time. We do get one body for the rest of our lives. We do want to maximize it. We want to listen to it. But the more that we have cognitive reasoning for what we're trying to achieve, the more that we understand our journey over time will be different, but we'll be better at it. And that's what we're trying to do by teaching physical education teachers, by teaching personal trainers, by teaching the coaches who coach the students.
It's so important. I'm glad you touched on the mindset idea of knowing it's a continuous journey, right? Like,
Yep.
you don't go to the gym today and work, and hey, I'm worked out, I'm good now. Like, it's an ongoing process, right? And so I think that's a really important point. So even for those who maybe they fell off the wagon, there's still time to go back. Is really the point.
100%. It's a one-day journey. So there is no end to the journey. There's no destination. Right. There are goals along the way, but those are basically just rest stops. We may stop for a minute. Let's say we're traveling cross country and I'm in San Diego and eventually I get to Phoenix. That doesn't mean I stop in Phoenix. I may be here for a while and I may say, hey, I made it to Dallas and I stop in Dallas for a few days, but that doesn't mean my goals are over. My destination hasn't ended. My journey will continue on when I decide today's the day. So take that step. You'll be surprised at how much your body remembers. You'll be surprised at how feel you good after. We just have to be willing to take that step.
I love it. Spencer, this is such an awesome time chatting with you. I so appreciate the insights and again, your personal story and what you turn your life into. Clearly something you're passionate about and you love helping others. And I think that's a fabulous thing. Who would have thought I had an injury, like all the wonderful things that would come out of it? And look at that.
Exactly. Yeah. At the time, it was the most miserable day of my life, and it became the start of my journey. It became what my life's destiny was supposed to be.
Beautiful. Spencer, this is awesome. Thank you for your time, and we'll catch up down the road.
That works. I appreciate it.
As Spencer shared his experiences of overcoming setbacks and embracing unexpected opportunities, I was reminded of the importance of taking risks and stepping outside of our comfort zones. It's in those moments of daring greatly that we can truly discover our potential and pave the way for extraordinary growth. Thank you for tuning in to the Audacious Living Podcast, as always, where audacity meets inspiration and transformation. Remember, the audacious life you seek is within your reach. Embrace every challenge, seize every opportunity, and live boldly. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, show love to one another, and be audacious.
You've been listening to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by Audley Stevenson. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be audacious.